The next one's number 13 there, we are going to solve a system of equations by what they call the elimination method. So it says, solving a system of equations using elimination with multiplication and addition. Our goal when we are solving it, notice here I don't have either equation solved for x or for y, and I don't have a plain x or a plain y where I can just move something over and solve it easy. So what I'm going to do is I need to make opposites in front of either my x's or my y's. In this case, I'm going to use my x's because my numbers are a little smaller. So I think about 4 and 3, and I think about their least common multiple. If I have 4 and 3, they both go into 12. So I want one to be 12 and one to be negative 12. Since my signs are already opposite, I'm going to leave the signs how they are. And so I'm going to take my top equation times the 3, my bottom equation times the 4. Notice I just kind of switched my numbers, but I ignored the signs because my signs were already opposite. So I'm going to take everything in that top equation times 3. 3 times negative 4x is negative 12x. 3 times a positive 9y is a positive 27y. 3 times 19, 58. If I did that right?
Yep, 57.
57. See, good thing you checked me. 57. On the bottom then, I'm going to take everything in that equation times 4. 4 times 3x is 12x. 4 times a minus 4y is a minus 16y. 4 times my negative 17, there's my 8. 28, negative 68. Now the whole key to the elimination method is that when we multiplied, we made opposites here. Because now when we add a negative 12 and a positive 12, they're going to cancel those out of there, right?
Okay, yeah.
So this cancels out. 27 minus 16 would give me 11y. 57 minus 68 is negative 11. Now that makes that really easy to solve because all I have to do is divide, right? So if I divide by 11,
Wait.
whoop,
58 minus 68?
57. Remember, you corrected me. It was supposed to be
did I?
57. Yes, you did. You said, no, that's supposed to be 57, right?
Oh, okay.
And you're right. It is supposed to be 57. So 57 minus 68
Oh, yeah, okay.
gives you negative 11. So negative 11 divided by positive 11 gives me negative 1 for my y. Y is going to equal negative 1. Now I still need to find the x. I don't have a real easy equation that just says x equals something. I'm just going to pick one of those two equations. Which one looks easier to work with, the top one or the bottom one?
The bottom one.
Okay, so we're going to use 3x minus 4y equals negative 17. But we know what y is, right? So we can substitute in for the y our minus 1. So we're going to have 3x, a negative 4 times a negative 1 would be plus 4, equals negative 17. Now we have an equation that looks like something we can solve, right?
Yep.
So I need to move my 4 over. I'm going to minus my 4. 3x equals negative 21. And then I'm going to divide by 3. X equals negative 7. Now just like on our other system of equations, if you want to take the time to check it, you would use the opposite equation. Negative 4x plus 9y equals 19. If x is a minus 7 and y is a minus 1, you would then say, okay, negative 4 times negative 7 is 28. 9 times negative 1 is minus 9. 28 minus 9, oh, sure enough is 19, so it checks out. So if you want to take the time to check, you always just check it in the other equations like we did those very first problems on the page where we had to plug in the x and the y and check them out. All right, so number 14. Number 14, if I can find it, there it is. We are solving our system of equations. Again, both of these have numbers in front of the x's and the y's, so the elimination method is easier than trying to do substitution, because we'd have fractions. That wouldn't be very fun. So we want to look and say, okay, do I want to get rid of the x's or the y's? What do you think? Do you want to get rid of the x's or the y's?
Let's get rid of the x's.
Okay. If we want to get rid of the x's, we want to think about our least common multiple of 4 and 7, which would be
28.
28. We're going to make one of them positive 28. The other one needs to be a negative 28. So that means we're going to take the top equation times
28. Negative?
We want one to be positive 28 and one to be negative 28. So what should we take the top equation by? If there's a 4 there.
Oh, 7.
7, okay? So if we take that one times 7, let's go ahead and do that. Multiply everything times 7. We get 28x plus 21y equals 7, right?
Yep.
Now that means since we made the top one a positive 28, we want to make the bottom one a negative 28. What should we multiply by the bottom equation so that we get a negative 28?
Negative 4.
Negative 4, exactly. So then we're going to multiply everything in that bottom equation times negative 4. So our whole thing was we wanted to make opposites so that when we add, those ones are eliminated from our equation. So 21 minus 24 then would give me negative 3y. And 7 minus 28 would be
negative 21.
Negative 21. And so if negative 3y equals negative 21, to solve it for y, we still need to divide. And so y is going to equal 7. Y is 7. We found y. We still need to find x. In order to find x, we're going to pick one of those two starting equations. Which one of those two do you want to work with?
Let's go with the
Which one looks
the
easier?
second.
The second one?
Yeah, the first one.
The first one?
Yeah.
Okay, so 4x plus 3y equals 1. But we know that y is going to be
7.
7. So we're going to put a 7 in there for the y. So if we do that, what should our equation be? 4x plus 21 equals 1.
Equals 1.
And then to solve that, we're going to,
Divide.
before we divide,
Take the 21 to
we got to move the 21 first, right? Minus our 21.
So it's going to be 20.
Negative
Negative
20. 4x equals negative 20, and then we're going to
Alright,
divide.
then we divide. Equals
Negative.
5.
Don't lose those negative signs. Right? Because that'll make a difference. 5 and negative 5 won't be the same thing. All right, we found our two answers. X is negative 5, y is 7. So if we want to check it quick, grab your calculator. You would do the second equation and you'd say 7 times negative 5 plus 6 times 7. So 7 times negative 5 plus 6 times 7 gives you
7.
7. Yep, that checks out. Okay? That way if you do miss a sign, you'll go, oh, something's wrong. All right, and, whoops, where are we at here? Number 15 then. Solving my system of equations by substitution again. Or not by substitution, by the elimination method. So, I'm looking at that. Do you want to get rid of the x's or the y's?
The X's.
The x's are just as good as anything else. If I have a 4 and a 5, my least common multiple is going to be
20.
20. So I want to take my top equation times
5.
5. If I take my top equation times 5, I'm going to get
Negative 20x plus 35y equals 20.
equals 20. Okay. So our top equation has a negative 20, which means our bottom equation we want to have a positive 20, right?
Yeah.
So that means we're going to take our bottom equation times,
Negative 4.
not negative 4, because that would make another negative 20, right? We want one to be negative and one to be positive, so we're going to take our bottom equation times just 4, because we don't want the sign to change, right?
Okay.
So if they're already opposites, both of our numbers are going to be positive on the
Okay.
outside. If they're the same, then I got to change one of them. So multiplying by 4, we are going to get
20x minus 24y equals negative 20.
okay, so when we add,
25 minus 24 equals 11y
11y equals
equals 0.
0, and when we divide by 11 then, y, just going to be 0, right? Y is 0. We still need to find the x. Which equation should we use to find the x?
Let's use the 4.
Negative 4x plus 7y equals 4. We know that in place of the y we can put
0.
0, and 7 times 0, just going to get rid of that one, right?
Yeah.
So negative 4x equals 4. So when we divide,
Equals 1.
equals negative.
Oh yeah, I have to bring my negative down. Okay.
Don't forget that sign, negative 1. So if we want to double check that quick, we're going to do 5 times negative 1 minus 6 times 0.
So 5 times negative 1 times 6 times 0.
5 times negative 1 minus 6 times 0.
Negative 6?
Yep, that was a minus 6y, right?
Oh yeah. Times 0 equals 5.
It should be negative 5 if you typed it in right.
Okay,
5 times negative 1
negative 1
minus 6 times 0.
minus 6 times 0. Oh yeah, negative 5.
Negative 5, yep. So those check out, should be good.